Nextdoor is the world's largest private network for neighbors. The social forum allows neighborhoods to connect over the platform, whether it's for community events, local services, or finding lost items. Nextdoor is now making a play for the Canadian market, and joining us to talk about it is Sarah Friar. She's the CEO. Sarah, thanks for being with us.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
I used to be based in San Francisco, so we got used to using Nextdoor. We lived in Sausalito for a period of time, so if somebody saw a coyote or something in the neighborhood, everyone would get on there. For those who aren't familiar with this platform here in Canada, what can you tell us about it?
Sure. So thank you, first of all, for a warm Canadian welcome from the whole country. So we've been in beta for a while, and we've been amazed at the uptake. So why do people come to Nextdoor? First, to get connected. People typically don't know their neighbors. In fact, about 10% of Torontons say, I don't know anyone in my neighborhood. Second, they come to find out what's going on. So tell me about a great event this weekend, maybe something I want to take my kids to, all the way to why are they digging a big hole in the road outside my house? So we get the full range. Is it a coyote?
Yes.
And the third reason is utility. So help me get things done. And as we launch in Canada, bringing local businesses to the platform, bringing agencies, the City of Edmonton is already on the platform, for example, brings a lot of utility to neighbors as well.
So I have a very engaged street, and we do everything through email, and everybody loves to reply all. Or we have something, a little thing on Facebook. So what are you doing at Nextdoor that is different from the experience that we can organize on our little, mailer list on email, or what I could organize on Facebook?
So Nextdoor is a very different beginning. So real people at real addresses. We take time to verify you. The company was founded on this idea of trust. And we think trust is really important, that if you're going to be talking to your neighbors, you want to make sure you know who's out there on the platform with you. So that's number one, is that verification and trust piece. Second is beyond just an email exchange, which can be a lot of back and forth. Think about what you can do with a platform where maybe you can post the thing that you want to reuse or recycle, right? We see kids' clothes, we see cars, we see bikes, you name it. So very kind of rich forum for that. We see groups coming together. So maybe I want to go hiking. The power of proximity is huge, right? People want to get together in real life to combat things like social isolation. And then beyond that, local businesses can actually create a profile page. They can put an offer into the feed, all of the things you couldn't do in just an email exchange. But we want you to get the best of it. So coming together with the people that you know, but also welcoming in those people that maybe have just moved to your particular street.
I'd love to ask just an industry question at a time where the giants are facing inquiries on antitrust and whether they control so much of the market. I mean, I guess it's fair to say that this is essentially a social media platform, and everybody lives under the umbrella of Facebook. And there are questions as to whether or not Facebook's dominance is stifling innovation in the social media space, stifling your ability to grow. What do you say to that?
So, I think we're an antidote to all that we've seen on large-scale social media platforms. And the fact that we exist at the scale we do proves that there is really good new stuff going on in consumer internet. So Nextdoor is in 11 countries, so Canada is our 11th. Almost 250,000 neighborhoods across the globe. So we have been able to get to scale, even though we do it a little differently. So we're based on the local graph. We take that time to verify things that have probably slowed growth somewhat, but we think we've done it very purposely so that you can trust what's going on. I'll tell you another thing we do. We want the interactions on the platform to feel good. We understand that not all issues are all goodness and kindness. However, we want people to be able to debate things in a way that it doesn't become ultimately, not nice. So I'll give you an example. We launched something called Kindness Reminder last week. Kindness Reminder jumps up in your feed. If you start putting something in that we know is content that's likely to get reported, we cause you to slow down. So we get you out of your bias. We get you to think about what you're posting. And in doing that, we saw almost 30% of people actually rethink what they posted.
Is that an algorithm, or?
It uses machine learning to look for words and phrases that are very pertinent to that place, right? Because we have to do this country by country, locale by locale. But it really does cause people to say, okay, I want to be my better self here. So even though I might be disagreeing, I don't need to be disagreeable while I do that.
I remember a story once about Drake's mom telling him, wait at least a day or 2 days before responding. So we're seeing this implemented in real time. I mean, one thing we see here in Canada, whether it's a startup or larger companies like Shopify, we talk a lot about, is that there is this ability to scale very quickly.
Yeah.
So you talked about testing things out in Canada.
Yeah.
I would assume the more people who are on the platform, the better the efficiency can be. You're probably looking to roll out in a lot of markets. How big are you basically starting in Canada, and how big would you like to get?
Yeah, so as I said, we've loved this first, even just our beta in Canada. So official launch was yesterday. We had hoped to get to, a couple of tens of thousands, and we saw even in the beta, it really take off like wildfire.
Well, I just heard from our control room, someone's already downloaded.
Hey, we love that. So we're seeing neighborhoods already go over 1,000 neighbors. So in Calgary, Chestermere is already over 1,000 people. Mississauga is about to hit 1,000 people. Go Mississauga. Toronto, you don't want to get left behind. But we're definitely seeing real scale happen in Canada. And it doesn't surprise me, right? Canadians are known for being neighborly. We know we have this zeitgeist of the moment right now where people want to connect. You asked about big tech. Big tech has brought these broad platforms that I think have let people down. And I think Nextdoor has this ability to bring people together in much more tighter groups with that power of proximity, not preference, but proximity, bringing people who are different from one another together. And it's one of the things I love about Canada generally is just the number of immigrants, the number of people from different backgrounds, the fact that people live amongst each other, right? It creates such a vibrancy of conversation.
But it also requires you to have local knowledge. And that is also a conversation right now about the tech industry and whether Silicon Valleyites are too much in their own bubble. And it sounds like for Nextdoor to thrive, it's actually a business imperative that you're not.
We have to be local. So in Toronto, or in Canada, we have our Canadian country manager here for kickoff, but we're actually going to put engineers here in Canada as well. In my last company, tremendous success in putting engineering footprints up here in Canada. I want to do that same. That was Square. I want to see that same takeoff again. So we're announcing that we are hiring. So any great engineers out there, data scientists, designers, we're in the market, and we do want to build a footprint in the market because we think it'll help us design and build a product that will work for this locale too.
And just in terms of the business, we spend a lot of time, whether the companies are public or going public, or we start to learn about how the business model evolves. Since you mentioned Square, where there's a business that evolved over time, you heard from the people who were using it, and then the business evolved. Is that still happening with Nextdoor?
Yeah.
Which is, it's not, I mean, this is, in Silicon Valley terms, this is not a young company per se, but the business model is continuing to evolve?
We're young from a business model standpoint.
Okay.
So it takes a while in a network platform you have to be at scale. So today we monetize through advertising, which has been more typical in social media. We tend to work with large national advertisers who want to bring the local utility. So the best advertisers for us are folks who want to do something at a local level, particularly if it takes consumers, say, into a store, into a gathering place. So I'll tell you who'd be a great advertiser for us, Tim Hortons. So let's bring people to a local gathering spot. But beyond that, I think we have an ability to evolve the model. Local business is really high on the list for me. I learned that at Square. I love small local businesses. They need a way to find new customers. Neighbors want to support local businesses, right? When they thrive, communities thrive. And then I think we can work with verticals, folks like real estate agents, contractors, dentists, doctors, right? These are all local providers. And then the final group is casual, what we call casual sellers. But think the babysitter, the dog walker. In fact, I just heard about an amazing teen who is finding all of her jobs on Nextdoor to save for college. So hopefully we can bring work to that group as well.
All right, thank you very much. That's Sarah Friar, CEO of Nextdoor, which is launching in Canada.